Now it's with great pleasure that I introduce someone who has gone through an extremely trying time in her life and has come out the other side a truly remarkable woman. And here to share her story, a bit about herself and her wisdom, is Kathy Tuccaro. Please join me in welcoming Kathy.
Hi! Hi, thank you so much, especially Kristen, Carrie, Allison, and so everyone who has put this conference together. First things first, these fists, aren't they great? Yeah. They're great. Best $10 I ever spent at Walmart. They have been the most empowering tool I have used not only for my own journey, but for all the workshops and talks that I do worldwide. So yes, I do bring them. And I'll just get this out of the way, the hard hat. The only reason I have this hard hat blinged out is because a couple years ago I was asked to be on the game show Let's Make a Deal. If you're familiar with that, and you had to get dressed up. And well, what am I gonna get dressed up as? Well, I may as well get dressed up as my work. So I went as designer miner. Let's see, how do I click this? Okay, yeah, designer miner. And because I operate the world's largest mining equipment. So once I got to the show, I'm looking at my hard hat, which was really plain. I'm like, oh man, I gotta bling that out. So dollar store crap, whatever, it worked, right? And what's even better is that I ended up winning $11,000 worth of prizes. Like, woo! I killed it. It was awesome. But anyway, so now the whole idea, I started a whole brand on Designer Miner. So I have these little mini-me's that I have. And if some of you later on during the slides, if you guess some of the questions, well, you might win one. So there you go. So yeah, so a little bit, we'll get the elephant out of the room, my job, because it is the coolest job in the world, and it is not on TV, it's not a reality show, so nobody really knows, unless you're in mining, you don't know what's going on. So I'll just explain a little bit. Do we have a green, like a clicker, a laser on this? No, hey? No, okay, all right, doesn't matter. So on the bottom of like where the tires are, you can't really see it, but it's black. It's supposed to be black. That's oil. So I work for ExxonMobil, or Imperial Oil in Canada, and we are in the oil sands, Alberta, northern Alberta. We're 110 kilometers north of Fort McMurray. It's called Curl Oil Sands. So these shovels are the size of ships, literally the size of ships. And they're so awesome when you're inside. Like, oh my God, I can't even begin to tell you. So I sit in this truck in the cab. Here's a better picture. This is taken at the Las Vegas Mining Expo. They literally build the tents around all the equipment. So this truck, this gives you a little bit of an idea of what it's like. But has anyone ever been beside a 797? A few, yeah. Isn't it something? When you're standing beside that tire and you're looking up, you're like, oh my God, right? Like it's so impressive. You can walk underneath. My mom is going blind and she's 80. And I brought her to Peoria, Illinois, where they have a 797 inside a museum. And for her to see, because pictures don't do it justice. I'm like, Mom, you gotta stand beside the tire. Like at least before you lose your vision, you need to see this. You need to experience this. Now, I don't know if has anyone been to that museum in Peoria? Okay, well, if you do go, when you're walking along, you come up a ramp and then into the museum and then you buy your ticket. And as you're walking along, you're actually on the second floor, so you're walking alongside the dump body of the truck. And right before you get to where that person is standing, before you get to the end, there's a door. And you go into the door, Caterpillar put a movie theater in the dump body of that truck. They put a movie theater in there. It is the coolest thing. They have 50 seats, so Mom and I are sitting there watching a movie about Caterpillar. It was awesome. It was really cool. So if you get a chance, it's pretty impressive. And actually, our mine is featured all over that museum, so it's really, really interesting. So this is just part of my job. This is the biggest water truck in the world, and it's a little bit smaller truck than the 797. It's a 793. It holds 52,000 gallons of water, and I have to say it is the best job ever. And I mean ever, because I sit in that cab 13 hours a day, and all I do is drive around. It's really hot in the summer up there. I know it's northern Canada, but it does get hot a few days. And all I do is press a button. That's it. Press a button. There's big sprayers out the back. You can't see them, and they just shoot water out like it is. When you see one going by, oh man, it's impressive. But the book that you have, my book, I actually wrote it sitting in the cab. I hand wrote it on a legal pad because we're not allowed our phones, we're not allowed any electronics in the mine. So it takes about 35 minutes to fill that tank. It's under like a big hangman, big water pipe tree. And when you're parked under there, well, those of you kind of know me, I have 8 hamsters, 1 wheel in this noggin. It just doesn't stop. So sitting there for half an hour, I'm not one who sleeps, right? So I'm like, oh man. So, hey, I can write my book. So I did. So I wrote it within a month. I hand wrote it, and from front to back, it took me a year to get it all done. But yeah, sitting in that truck. So this baby. Now, this grader, it may not seem like anything, but it is the biggest grader in the world. It is longer, no, it's the same length, but bigger than an 18-wheeler tractor trailer. So when one comes in the mine, it's really hard to gather perspective looking at pictures. So when you have an 18-wheeler coming in the mine and it'll park right beside me like a flat deck that's hauling pipe, I'm actually looking down at the driver. And I get such a kick out of it every single time. 11 years later, I'm still like, hey dude, how's it going? Right? I get so fun, like, oh my God. However, this job, it's very, very demanding. It takes a year to learn. That blade is 24 feet long, 3 feet high. This joystick has 12 different functions with your wrist and fingers and whatnot. This one here has 14, so you're constantly doing this and you're looking down at the blade, and it's quite challenging. And they give you a year because they need you to be able to go through every single scenario, every weather condition, everything imaginable, and they want you to be comfortable. The training that we get is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And to this day, my trainer, who's trained me on all the equipment, his name is Dave. Yeah, every single gray hair in his beard is me. 100%. He knows it, I know it, and I'm okay with it. I'm like, I warned him, he was warned. So now this baby, the dozer, the D11. Has anyone ever stood by one of those? Oh my God. I can't even this does not do it justice, like at all. It is so big, so powerful. Like when this dozer piece of equipment pushes out a big 797 fully loaded truck that's stuck in the mud, you don't even feel it. Like it'll come up behind you, and the operator will say, "Okay, Kath, you ready?" They kind of call me Tuck and Stuck for a reason. Like, true story. They do Tuck and Stuck. So they'll be like, "Okay, Kath, are you ready?" I'm like, "Yep, give her," and they'll just push, and poof, you're out. Like the power these things have is unbelievable. So I started training on this thing last year. I was 54 years old, and I had looked at my same trainer, Dave, and I said, okay, I've been through a lot in my life, like a lot. If I manage to make the year, because it takes a year to go through all the scenarios, this will be the biggest, single most accomplishment of my life. There is nothing greater, no matter, as you'll see further on as I go, this has been the biggest challenge throughout everything because of the skill that it takes to operate and the knowing, and not just that, the self-confidence to be able to get in that machine and do the job that it's required, right? And so you are watched 24, like you have 4 or 5 pickups watching you and trainers and all different kinds and just, people helping you grow. But the one thing that they cannot help you grow with is fear. They can teach you, they can give you the tools, they can give you everything you need to know, but in reality, I'm the one sitting in there, and I'm the one that's in the job that will either make it or break it. What am I going to do with the situation at hand, right? It's up to me. So we'll just keep on going on, and I'll get back to that. So I put this picture in here. This was taken, the truck, and this is taken at our wash bay. So the mine is really big, and it's the grader operator's responsibility to drop off all the truckers at the trucks. So we drive them in pit buses, in school buses. We call them pit buses. And so this was at the wash bay, and it just so happened that the truck was behind it. So it's a really great picture, so you can kind of get the concept of how big they are. Guess how many stories, those that know don't respond, don't answer. How many stories tall is 797 up? And if you guess it, you'll get one of my little mini-me's.
5.
Ah, who said 5? Yep, 5 stories high. So come see me after, okay? So yeah, so it's 5 stories high. It's 2.5 stories. Like, I sit in that cab, you think about it, it's 12.5 hours a day. We get out of that cab twice. That is my office. Denise Johnson from the Global Mining, she's the president of Global Mining for Caterpillar. She came to visit our mine and came and sat with me. I gave her a big tour in my truck, and I said, "Step into my office, Denise," right? Because that's where the magic happens. That's where I create. That's where I make things. Anyway, so yeah, so I just wanted you to see that. The other little one behind the dozer, that's our little, well, I say little, it's not little, it's so not little. It's our hydraulic shovel. So the other big one that you saw in the first one, it's our electric shovel. We have 9 of those, and we have about 10 of these small ones. So yeah, this is me and my friend Patty. We were doing the whole Charlie's Angels pose. We used to have 180 people and 12 women, and we're down. Now our mine went fully autonomous, so our 81 trucks are all robots. So they lost 80 people, which is kind of sad. So now we're down to 6 women out of 120 employees, and yeah, so I'm one of them. Patty is no longer there, which is really sad, but anyway. So you can kind of see in the back our mine. This is the day-to-day jobs that we do. Oh yeah, see, tuck and stuck. I got the grader stuck again. So, and this is when you get stuck. I mean, it's not just me, it's everybody. It's okay, let me just clarify that. I'm not a bad operator. It's just the soil, the earth that we have. These machines are heavy. They sink, and this is sand. You can't really tell, but it's a big sand pit, and so the graders and sand, it's like, yeah, ixnay, don't go there, right? So the only way to get a grader unstuck is you can see the dozer in the back there yanking it out, and I have got many other graders unstuck, being the dozer operator, and you cannot. They are so powerful that you cannot even tell as they say, okay, go. So you're kind of rattling along. You don't even know he's unstuck because the power is so great in that engine, and the only reason you stop is because your supervisor says, okay, stop, you're good, right? So yeah, so it's very, very impressive. It's a whole different world, and coming from someone from my background, which you'll see in a minute. It was absolutely mind-blowing, life-altering, unbelievable. Yeah, it's something. Okay, let's get back to what I was saying about fear. Okay, now I'm gonna take this off. By the way, most dangerous job in the world, one of the most dangerous jobs that I have. 11 years, never an incident. I tripped over my own 2 feet in running shoes on brand new pavement. 3 weeks ago. Yep, no excuse, no reason, so yeah, okay. All right, so this here is taken at the very end of the year of training on the dozer. You have to go rip and push above the shovel. Now, what that entails, you can see the electric shovel down there. Now, again, depth perception you cannot see. So think Grand Canyon height, right? Think cliffs straight down. Right? This is all that black. This is sheer ore. They call ore. So the dozer's job is to feed the shovel. So all you do is you're on top of that cliff, and you're just feeding the shovel. So you just go slow, and you just push till you get to the end, and the shovel is there, and he's swinging it, and he'll load the truck, and there's a truck on either side, and that's all you do. And then you just back up and you push. It sounds real easy, right? Back and forth, yeah, no. So not. What you can't see is, number one, what's in front of you, the blade. Remember that other picture, that big, when I'm standing in front of the blade? It's so freaking big that when you're in the cab, you don't see anything. All you see are the tracks, and you have a little window like this and a couple side windows, and these windows here, which are blocked by equipment. So there's a little tiny hole there where you can see the end of the blade and the track. So there's a little, so you can see when you lift the blade, then you can see daylight. That's it. So you're supposed to judge on top of a cliff where the edge is by that little hole, which is filled with ore, right? So you don't know where the edge is. Let me tell you about fear. So when you're there, it's really hard to see in the picture, but it's the best picture I could get from the training department. When you get to the edge, the only reason you know you're there is because the whole dozer will tip forward. And you're like, oh my God. And the thing is, as many buttons that the grader has for both joysticks, in the dozer you have forward, backward, forward, backward. In a panic, what do you mostly do? You don't usually do the right thing, right? You have to really make sure your brain forwards, hit the reverse button instead of the forward button when you're at that edge. It is terrifying, and especially if you're stressed and you're new, you're training, you don't really know what the heck you're doing. It is something else. Like it is really, yeah. It requires that you have to go inside yourself to reach depths that you didn't even know existed to find out what you're made of. Now let me tell you a little bit of a story here. So my first day there. So this is the end of my training, right? And I forgot to say, all the trainers, my supervisor, people did not believe in me. They thought that I was going to fail. My old supervisor had even tried to, kind of just say, Kathy, it's going to require a big commitment, and there's a lot to learn, and da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, really? Put me on that dozer, right? And it became a challenge, not to show what I was made of, but it was a personal challenge. I wanted to show myself that no matter what I'd been through, that I was able to do this for me, not for anybody else, not for what it was going to give me at work, because it doesn't give you anything, but it was just for me. So when I'm sitting up there, so I follow Kevin. Kevin's an old hippie. He is literally his hair is longer than mine. Like he's just, he's got that spaced out look. I love Kevin. He's amazing. And he even says himself he does way too many drugs. He's got brain cells fried, and he's funny. He's so funny. Anyway, he's been doing this for 40 years. So I'm meant to follow him. So I'm behind him in the dozer, and we're rattling along, and then he just drops out of sight. I'm like, where'd he go? So then I kind of rattle up to the edge, and now it's a straight 90-degree drop. And I'm looking down, and I'm, oh my God. Right? And that is when the fear really hit, because you're so high up. Not only are you high up, but you're in a really big piece of equipment. Anything could go wrong in a second, because even though I've been on the machine for 8 months, I really, really don't know what I'm doing. He's been doing it for 40 years. He makes it look like it's nothing, right? So at that moment, I had a decision to make. As I'm sitting there looking, your insides are going in and out, and I almost want to throw up, and I'm like, oh my God. So then I'm rehearsing in my mind, okay, well, if I just pull out now and I call the training department, come get me, you know what, this stops here, I'm not doing this, which a lot of people do because the fear of heights and just whatever reason, there's a lot of people that back out at this moment. And I'm like, nope, if he can do it, I can do it. Clearly, the machine is made to do the job. So I had to put my faith in what little training that I had for the 8 months, and what little skill that I had, and in who I was and what I wanted to do. And I made the leap of faith, and I swear I went down that cliff and I yelled, Kevin! the whole time. And then I just kind of went, right? But it didn't seem, I get to the bottom, I blinked almost, and I get to the bottom, and my heart's in my throat, and I'm like, whoa. And I look up, and I'm like, holy crap, I just went down there, like, oh my God. And then I see Kevin, he's out standing on the tracks, and he's laughing and laughing. He says, come here. So I kind of rattle over, and he says, yeah, you didn't have to do that. I just wanted to see if you would. I'm like, you're a jerk. He says, you're a jerk. He says, now you know what the machine can do, right? And he says, Kathy, if you're going to do this, you have to test yourself. You have to be able to have the kahunas to, when you're in a situation, to make that decision, a split-second decision to do it. And he said, not everybody's meant to do it, and you are. So he said, he gave me a high five. So yes, I passed Kevin's test. So yeah. You can kind of see around back there, the very back, there's a ramp. That is our crusher. That is where the trucks go through all the mine and they dump the ore, and then the ore goes up through another ramp and into all the whole processing unit. So we have 2 of those crushers at our mine, well, 4 actually. So yeah. Here's a different perspective. So you can see that up top, there's a truck. That's a road up there. Well, generally, we are 2 levels higher. So never mind the truck. So you'd be ripping and pushing from another level. This is just a low face, what they call. So you can see that the ripper behind there, so that is when you got to turn around like this. The whole shift, you are sitting like this. And you're backing up, and you can't see. You have a window about this big to see the ripper, the tip of that ripper, which you saw earlier in the first pictures. And you're looking, and where's the edge? And you can't see, and there's ore, and there's lumps and rocks, and the shovel, and you're like, oh my God. The only reason you know you're at the edge again, woo, oh God, go forward. It is, I call it character building, is a good way to term it, because it has taught me so much about, you believe it or not, just day-to-day living. Things that challenges that I face in life, I'm thinking, you didn't see what I did last week. Like, oh my God, if I did that, I could do this. So it is, I walk straighter, I stand taller. When problems come my way, it's just, I deal with them differently. I can't explain it. Like, it's just given me a backbone. It's given me a voice. This has been the best career change ever. Okay, so now, I just wanted to show a few pictures just to show you size-wise, because it's really cool and interesting, and everybody kind of wants to know. So it literally takes 6 highway tractor trailers to make up one 797. Random question. If you get this, you get a little mini-me. And if people know the answer, don't answer. Okay, I mean, the ones that see my presentation before, sorry. How many hockey pucks do you think fill a 797 truck? Canadian hockey pucks, right? Gotta be. How much? 20,000, way higher. 2 million, you're close, but higher. No, lower. Lower.
2.8.
No, lower than 2.8.
2.61.
Lower.
2.48.
Lower than 2.4.
2.35. 1.37.
Did someone say 2.2?
Yes.
Yeah. Who said 2.2? Okay, you come see me after, okay? Come see me. 2.2 million hockey pucks as per the Caterpillar engineer via their calculation, right? No, I don't think so. But I don't know. No, I just messaged him last week. I was at a different conference in Dallas, and we had a trivia, and so I just reassured. I said,
How much maple syrup?
right? Good question. So yeah, just like look at the size of these things. I call it my baby. Yeah, the dozer. Okay, a little bit of mining mayhem. Now this video, we're not going to play it today, but if ever you want to go check, we filmed it on site. It's a 6-minute safety video that we did, and it's really, it gives you a different perspective on how fast things can change literally in a split second. So the truck here, we squished it on our dump. Obviously no one was hurt. 1 tire did that. 1 tire. Now this other one, however, the driver was killed. The mining is a very dangerous industry. There's a lot of incidents that happen, so we are a safety sensitive position. We always get tested, randoms, whatnot. And I'm very grateful for that, because looking at Kevin, I'm like, do you really want someone coming in to work hungover, right? I mean, we live in a camp, we work 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, we're fly in, fly out. Right now I'm on vacation, so I get a whole 6 weeks off. I get a whole rotation off. It's fabulous. Did I say it was the best career change ever? I think I did, yeah, okay. So yeah, but yeah, it is very dangerous. There's a lot of incidents that happen, so I just wanted to show a few mining mayhem. Now this, no, it was not me, but it happens a lot. Just because the trucks carry 400 tons and it's very heavy, right? So and it's ore and it's underneath is muskeg, and so these trucks. I mean, when you're driving along, the whole earth is literally, they call them earth movers for a reason, like just everything. The bottom one with the tire actually happened on our site. It was one of our girls that was driving, and the strut just broke, and she just went clunk, right? So. Yeah, this happens often, like, oh my God, I can't even tell you how many times the trucks get stuck a day. So as a dozer, all you do is you come behind them, you just give them a little boost. So, and dozers, yes, they tip over, they fall over, they get stuck, they're heavy. It's quite terrifying when you're in a dozer and you're like this, and you're like, oh my God, yeah. Yeah. So this also happened at a site next to ours. There's also, last year, a dozer at a different site was backing up. They were doing shift change. There was 2 people in a pickup, and they were on different channels. And the dozer, usually we have areas for the pickups to go and park, and like a safety zone. And you're supposed to have a 50-meter call out and call ahead, and but the standards were broken, and the dozer backed over the pickup, killing both individuals inside. Yeah. And it's people that it's horrible. The one in the top, that was at the site where the cab is crushed. That happened at the site, another site next to ours. In Alberta, there's a whole bunch of different sites, right? So what happened was it was very foggy, and they were going up a ramp, and you don't go very fast because, well, number one, you're heavy and you're going like this. So, but what happened was it was so foggy, and in that cab was a trainee and a trainer, and the truck in front of them had stopped, and they didn't know it, and no one had warned them, or like the driver in front didn't, for whatever reason, they were on different channels, and he ran into the dovetail and killed them both as well. Yeah, we work long hours, and it's very, you have to be really on point with and pay attention with what's going on around. There's a lot of incidents that could have been avoided, and there's a lot, our safety department is very good at doing, the 5 whys and just trying to figure out the root causes and whatnot. Now, given that we work 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off, people are really isolated. You don't realize it because, we're in a camp, we're in equipment 13 hours a day. We don't have phones. My daughter's 30. It's not, sure there's issues, but a lot of fat people, men and women up there, have little kids, right? So things are going on at home. We still have a life. So people's minds aren't always on the job, on the task at hand. And there's problems, there's divorce, there's health issues, there's just whatever issues that are going on. It's just life, right? So the focus is really easy to be diverted. Now, for the rest of this presentation, we only have like 23 minutes, so I want you to just drop whatever title your job says you are. Just sit here as a woman, and as a human being, as a soul, as a beautiful soul of God, just sit here and just think about what is going on in your life and what it is that you wish that you would love to change. And if you have ever been stuck, and how have you gotten unstuck? And that's why I put the pictures of the dozers, because a lot of times one dozer will get stuck, and then another dozer will come and save him, and he gets stuck, and then a third. It's happened that 5 dozers in a row all got stuck. It's just, so yeah. So now, next question. Those that know, don't say, what do you think I was doing before this job? Nope.
Human resources.
Nope.
Retail. Raising kids.
Nope.
Sales.
Nope. No. Anybody that gets it, you get a little mini-me.
Teacher.
No. No.
Retail.
No.
Designer. Teacher.
Okay, I'm going to say I didn't really have a job. No.
Unemployed?
I was unemployed and
Maker? Dancer?
no. Thank God. Woohoo, I can. No one want, they see me dance, they think I'm having a stroke, so no, or seizure or something, God no. Okay, how about, what is the one of the biggest problems in the world right now? Homeless. Who said homeless first? Okay, come see me after. This is me. 2011. And okay, no, that is not me up there. Let's just be clear. Bottom picture's me. That is Toothless Joe. I had just sliced my arm. I don't remember doing it. I was completely drunk. I had, you cannot see. I mean, you can see in my eyes, there's no hope. There's no life. There's nothing left in my eyes. Now, how do you get homeless? What happens? How, like, you don't just end up decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to be homeless today. Like, how does that even happen? What do you think I was doing before I was homeless? No. I had a career. Somebody said it earlier.
Dancer.
Not that one. Not that one. I was a real professional. Somebody said it earlier. Yeah, who said nurse? Okay, come see me after. Yes, I was a nurse. For 13 years, I had a great career. And look at that smile. And I was so happy. Like, oh my God, how do you go from that to that? I was educated, and I'm sitting there. I was 7 days homeless, and that was long enough. And on the 7th day, I meet that guy. Well, it's not really that guy, but it was the only toothless picture I could find. It was a guy named Toothless Joe. And Toothless Joe, he comes up to me, and the only reason I have this picture is because sorry, this thing is killing me. The only reason I have this picture is because someone had robbed me. I literally only had the clothes on my back. And to get ID, you need ID, right? So the homeless shelter took this picture, and that's my proof, so that I could go actually get a driver's license again and all that stuff, right? But when I was standing there with Toothless Joe, he slapped me on the back, and he goes, "This is the life! Live it! Love it!" Oh my God, that was my moment. I call it a God smack because he literally smacked me on the back. And it's as if decades of depression and the reasons that got me there, it just came shattering. And it was like crystal clear. And I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at my very dismal surroundings. And I'm like, what did you just say? You know, this is the life. And I said, dude, this is not my life. I actually stomped my foot, and I repeated so I could hear myself, this is not my life. I didn't know where I was going. All I knew was that deep down inside, I had a way bigger purpose than standing beside that guy, right? And this, whatever I was doing, was not it. So I turned around, and I went to the hospital. I detoxed for 2 weeks. I have 12 years sober. Yay! Yeah, big thing. Big thing. Let me just take a sip of water on saying that. And so 12 years sober. And I had to go to a women's recovery program. Talk about working women together. I couldn't have done it alone. This is how I ended up doing it alone, right? So, wrong one. So when you look at this picture, you would never guess that 6 years before that big smile that I have, that I'm really good at doing, I was gang raped in Montreal. I tried to commit suicide 3 times. I was 19. A year before that, at 18, I was drugged and raped by a photographer in Miami. I was attacked at 15. I was raped at 14. I was beaten and molested as a child. And here are some, wait, let me backtrack. So during my nursing career, besides all that, you can't tell that all that happened, right? Just from this picture? You can't tell. Because I was really good at putting on that front, really good at smiling to my coworkers in my professional job. Nobody knew. But what's even worse is that I was going to work with a very damaged mind. And I'm going to work with an infected inner core, and I call it infected is because my self-esteem, everything that I knew as a child, being told how useless and ugly and stupid and you pollute the air, you stupid blah, 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 right? But yet I'm nursing and I know I'm smart, but in reality, I'm a mess. So I start drinking. Do you make wise decisions when you drink? Nope. So I ended up with 7.5 years of domestic violence, and I was strangled 3 times to the point of losing consciousness. I lived with a shovel on my porch as a reminder of what I'm going to be buried with. I was under constant threat of human trafficking. I was with this big biker dude. He was an enforcer for a very well-known biker gang I'm not going to name. I had a bodyguard. It was horrific. And I'm nursing during that time. I'm in and out of nursing, of women's shelter. As I'm nursing, it was horrible. Like I'm trying to survive. And I wasn't managing very well. And that's how I ended up homeless. Let me see what's here. So this is even younger. So I was in the doghouse at 6 years old. My very first memory is at 4 years old is a hand covering my mouth, telling me not to scream. I was in a foster home. The second one with the dog, the neighbors across the street, the 2 little boys, blonde hair, blue eyes, tied me up in their garage for a whole afternoon and did horrible, wicked things to me. I went home bloody and crying and half my clothes gone. My dad, my crazy stepfather, whipped me with a leather belt because he thought I was lying and I had torn the clothes, right? So I'm carrying all this damage, all of it. And it took, for me, to go to treatment, spend 2 years there to figure out who I was. And with this, I'm really hot, so I'm going to take off the outer layer. Hang on. Yeah, here comes the dancer part, right? You got it. Yeah, no, I don't want to rip off it. I had to find my shine, right, ladies? See, this is why I did not dance, because I would trip and definitely break a leg. There you go. I had to find my shine, get rid of that crap. So, I feel so much better. What it is that recovery home showed me who I was, and I had to nurture and polish the beautiful diamond that was within. Not that, oh, you're ugly, stupid, selfish, blah, 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 which I really believed I was. No. I had to unlearn decades, and I mean decades of trauma. I had to relearn who Kathy was at the age of 40, and then I had to accept it. That was the hardest part, was realizing that, damn, I'm awesome. Like, yeah, girl, right? It took a long time. So I had to get away from the masks. So I'm just asking you, when you're sitting here today, whatever job you're in, it doesn't matter. What matters is, what are you going to do with whatever it is that you're holding on to? On these little notepads that I have, they're really cheesy, but you know what? On the back is a golden key. Use that key to remind yourself that you are the key. You are holding the key because you're it. Nobody is going to be able, to go inside you and help you. You have to be able to face those dark moments and actually look at the awfulness. It's okay, it's just a memory. I mean, obviously don't do it alone, go get some help. I mean, it took me 2 years to chip away at it, to really, I had to take a sexual assault recovery group book. The course was 12 weeks long, the book was this thick. I had to take it twice because there was so much damage, so much trauma. And I couldn't do it alone. And it was within a safe group of women that we all had our different pains and levels of one isn't worse than the other. No, we each digest pain differently. We each have our own traumas, our own levels. So, but the question is, what are you going to do with it? You have to, if you want change, you have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to be brave and be courageous. And it's okay to cry. Man, I cried so many tears. My mom calls me Niagara Falls, like, oh my God, like it's just like, and I mean, people say, well, what's it gonna do? Like, how's that gonna help me by talking about it? You know what? It really does. And if you can't talk about it, write about it. Write letters, don't mail them. Like I had to write so many letters of anger, of forgiveness, of blah, 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 but then you go burn them, right? Just don't put them in the mailbox, right? So, but what that does, it really does release what you need. People ask me, does PTSD still come around? I'm like, absolutely. Let me tell you a story about PTSD. Oh my God, it's a gooder. Okay. First month, I'm out of recovery, and I'm really shaky with the self-esteem. Oh, hang on, let me back up before. You don't even know how I went from homeless to operating equipment. I bet you want to know that, right? Okay, so 2012, I cannot go back to nursing. I lost my 13-year nursing career. What am I going to do? How am I going to change careers? It's not easy when you know one thing, right? That's all I knew, and I was really good at it. So in case you didn't notice, the whole hamster thing, I ain't gonna go pump gas. I got so much going on. I need a career. So the recovery home sends me to a career planning workshop to find out what I want to be when I grow up. So I get there, 3 days, aptitude test, personality test, this and that, and whatever, you do it. And I give my whole heart. Third day, the lady gives me my sheet back in big letters, says heavy equipment operator. I look at this thing, I did that. I start to laugh. I'm like, you've got to be kidding. I'm like, I laughed so hard I just about fell off my chair. It was the most ridiculous thing. I'm like, there's a guy next to me. I said, your test is wrong. I said, I'm 42, I'm a woman, I don't even like equipment, I'm so not mechanically inclined. And I said, you know what, it's a man's job. I said, it's probably his, give it back. So I pushed it back to the lady. The lady pushed it back, puts a hand on her hip, puts it over her glasses and says, if only you'd believe in yourself a little bit, missy, you'd see the test is right. So she turns around, puts on this 10-minute Les Brown video on YouTube, It's Possible, and I'm sitting there thinking, this is bullshit. I just wasted 3 whole days, good God. And, but I'm listening to what he's saying, and he's talking about if you have a goal or a dream, oh, I forgot to take these off, sorry. If you have a goal, this was, by the way, change your lenses. Change the way you look at your life. That was that. If you have a goal or a dream, don't ask yourself if you can achieve it. Rather, ask yourself, is it possible? Is there a minute possibility? So then I started thinking, well, hey, I used to race cars. I'm a good driver. Damn, I can drive a truck. Having no idea these things existed, okay? I had no clue. I'm thinking an 18-wheeler, I can go back and forth Canada, US. Yeah, that's a great career. The lady sent me to Women Building Futures, another Women Helping Women program, which is phenomenal. It's a nonprofit organization. Companies, big companies, sponsor programs in the non-traditional trades, getting women getting into the program. So, electrician, carpentry, plumbing, journeywoman, crane operator, whatever, right? The day I walk in, had I gone a day earlier, I'd have missed it. The day I walk in, ExxonMobil is there, offering a pilot project, never done before, and it was, at the time, it was 10 days on, 10 days off, living in camp, driving a haul truck. I don't know what a haul truck is. I just saw 10 days off, I'll take it. Whatever it is, 10 days off, I'll do it. So there's 158 women that applied for this. Why would they pick me? I only had 9 months sober at the time, and I have nothing left to lose, right? You want me to do a backflip? I will do a backflip. Anything to get in there. So they started their elimination process. Well, part of the elimination process was to write a math test. I'm thinking, oh God, I'm screwed. I had 56 in grade 12. I sucked at math, terrible. So while I'm in recovery, Monday to Friday, doing all my tests and working on anger management, and yes, there was a lot of anger management that I had to deal with, unbeknownst to me, working on boundaries, codependencies, self-esteem, all that stuff. Every night for a month, I went to math tutoring. I got 96 in math. Yeah. I got picked. So I wrote an essay on the oil sands. Didn't even have to. So I went above and beyond to make sure that I was going to change my life, only because I wanted change more than I feared it, right? That's the biggest thing. A lot of people like to stay in their comfort zone. And you know what? This is good. I was 42. It's hard. And here's the kicker. Out of the 16 women that were hired, that took this 12-week course, 10 of us were over 42. It was awesome. It was so awesome. And here's the better thing that even happened out of that course. Every piece of equipment I'm getting on, oh my God, that lady was right. If I'd see her again, I would tackle her. Like, I was so happy because I'm sitting in an excavator for the first time thinking, I'm loading a rock truck thinking, oh my God, I can do this. I can do this. Like, the students were cheering me on, go, Kathy, go. The instructor was like, can I marry you? Like, it was awesome. Anyway, what that did that moment, it flipped a switch in my brain where all of a sudden, I recognized that I had been brainwashed my entire life. My entire life. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been listening to the wrong people. I shouldn't be listening to people, period. Follow your heart. Follow what's inside. And if you're scared, do it. 100% do it. So, I talk about this is because life is under construction. We see it all the time. Right? Our life is under construction. I have reconstructed. You know, the one good thing that I learned in mining is that we spend millions of dollars building new roads, building this, because we have to go dig here. We have to do this. So you got all these little busy ants, and they're doing this, and then we'll use this very expensive road for 6 months, and then all of a sudden the mine planning comes along. Oh, no, we got to go dig over here, so rip that up. And without even blinking, we rip that up and we go spend millions of dollars over it and we rebuild. Why can't we apply that in our own life? Why can't we do that? We get so stuck on the things that we lose. Like, you know what? It's just material items. You can get more. You know, even if you lose it all, you can build yours. There's only one way to go, right? Up. So get up, keep going, keep moving. I just want you to really take a quick guess. Which one are you? Just really, which one are you? You know, you could be any of these. And I just want you to take it away. You don't need to share it. I want you to think about where you're at. And what is it that you're going to do to fix it? That's all. That's just a little, you know. Are you stuck emotionally? Is what's going on physically? There's a lot of health problems. Self-purpose, people. Man, when I lost my nursing career, no purpose, no nothing. I got to do something, right? It's a big one. Fear, insecurity. Let me tell you a little quick story. I got a few minutes. A quick story about, I was in Dallas last week at a different conference, and the girl I'm staying with is my friend, Melissa. She's got 4 dogs, 2 Chihuahuas and the cutest little hot dogs, the Dachshunds, right? And she's got a cat. So I've been going to her place for a few years because I'm always doing a bunch of conferences in Dallas. So I stay at her house. So anyway, the one Chihuahua is 12 years old, this big, tiny little thing. Chloe, has spent her entire 12 years under the blankets, shaking in fear, never getting out, only coming out just for basics, right? So every time I would go, I would never see Chloe. This time, I'm sitting there in my pajamas, and there comes Chloe, shaking and just kind of not even wanting to look at me and shaking. And she's just like this big. And I'm like, oh, hi, how Chloe? The dog actually allowed me to pick her up, and she sat on my lap for the first time. My friend Melissa just about fell out of her chair. She had to take a picture and send it to all her friends. She says, what did you do to my dog? I'm like, nothing. And the key is that I think, well, number one, I exude, love and bubbly and happiness and all that stuff. But the dog found it in herself to overcome her fear and crawl out of that blanket and take that step that you need and realize, oh, it's not that bad. It's actually really nice on this side. So you can do the same thing. Be that courageous. Find that courage inside yourself to overcome anything that you are facing, no matter what it is, even if it seems so bleak. I got so many stories about obstacles so darn big, that it's endless. But I'm standing here today, and look at the difference. This is just, you know what? Holding on does a lot of damage, ladies. It really does. You don't think it does? It does. It's toxic. It's poison. I cannot stress that enough. It's poison. So now I only have a few minutes. So I really want to get into this. I started a work boot recycling program, which I'm very proud of, because 10,000 pairs of boots have been distributed to local communities because when I was in recovery, at that moment with Women Building Futures, I was so broke, I didn't have boots. I didn't have money. I had this golden opportunity, nothing on my feet. I went back to that women's program and I was crying and I'm like, oh my God, why does God hate me? And I got this golden opportunity. Why is life so hard? A girl happened to have a pair of boots at home that somebody had given her that she said, oh, I don't need these boots. You have them, Kathy. They fit my feet. That got me going. So when I got to Sight 11 years ago, I'm like, they were throwing away all these boots and I'm like, oh my God, no, you're not. You are so not. Put those there. So I was telling Allison about this dream. The night I sent an email to the mine manager, Paul Ferguson, I had a dream. I was telling him, why don't we recycle these? It's construction season, blah, blah, blah. And I dreamt that Paul's standing there like this, and it's raining work boots. So I said, I woke up, he's gonna say yes, and he did. So 10,000 pairs later, that's what's huge, proud of that. If you know anybody, any companies, you'd maybe just pass that along, just to recycle. I also give ice cold water to the homeless. I just did it in Dallas. It was a big thing. I go to schools everywhere I go. I do this for free. I talk to kids. I talk to young girls. All those girls in that picture were raped. And so I'm there as a voice, as trying to get them to press charges, to speak up and find their own inner power. Because again, with that key, you have the key to change your life. You can use it. Please stick it on your fridge and just remind yourself, because there's days that we forget. I talk to the little kids about good touch, bad touch, about not keeping secrets, because it's very important. Isn't that picture the greatest? He came to hug me. I just oh my God. Yeah. So I started the Hands of Hope. In Grenada, I distribute school supplies. I go to the prisons. I create community, and I do this. It's for free. It's not. I will not take money. I won a couple of awards lately for heavy equipment, women ambassador. I was on the cover of this year, the last two, for International Women's Day. They did an 8-page article. This was a 2-page article. Now I have a podcast. We just won an award for the People's Choice. We won last year. We won another award. It's really good, ladies. I'm not saying it's just because it's mine. It's actually very educational. We were number 3 for self-improvement in Ireland, number 8. Check it out. Also, the biggest thing, this, I was supposed to be at Women in Trucking this year, because I usually go there, but because of this finger, I have to go back to the doctor instead. Well, they're honoring me this, I'm Barbie in trucking. I'm gonna be Barbie, and I'm in their coloring book. So if only Toothless Joe could see me now, you know what I mean? And the little bobblehead that I am. So I just want to leave you with a few, it's besides my book, I have a children's book, I have a workbook, I'm working on a 3rd book, I got so much on the go. I just want to leave you with one thing. Whether you impart it, whether you keep it or pass it along to your kids, your daughters, your sons, you are the key. You are golden inside. You only have to recognize it. You have to remove the blinders that keep you wallowing in that, like I took the glasses off. Change the lenses of what you're looking at yourself with. It's so easy to look at all the yucky and all the, oh my God, I did this, if I would tell you the things I did when I was drinking, oh my God, the shame and guilt, well, are you gonna live in that shame? No, you know what, it's a learning curve. Just, you did it, okay, own it. Don't do it again, or just keep on, go get the help you need. Do what you need to do. That's it. So if you need help, go get the help. If you need hope, come see me. Reach out to me. You got all my things, I'm available, and I just want to thank you so much for having me. Thank you.